Hey, Jimmy and Mina, welcome back. It's Monday and we're going to use your big machine again. We're going to do some lat pull on your Marcy machine. So set it up however you know works best on your machine. Remember, you want your arms just a little bit about shoulder width or a little bit wider apart so that when you come down, it's just a natural movement. We're going to do 10 of these to start. You may notice that you're able to do a little bit more weight now that you've been doing these at your home for a while. 5, we're going to do 6. Let's do 10 altogether unless you're kind of at that in-between weight. So sometimes if you're at an in-between weight, you feel like you want to move up, but the next weight feels just a little bit too much, then do 12 or 15 at your old weight. And once you're able to do like 3 sets of that, then move up. Because if you're able to do, that same weight, but a few more repetitions, and you're still able to tolerate it all the way through, or maybe by the time you get to the 3rd set, you're like, okay, I'm only going to do 10, then you're reaching that point. But there's usually kind of an in-between weight as far as, I think I'm ready to move up, but then if your form starts to suffer with the new weight, then just do a few more repetitions with the old weight. Okay, so lat pull, and then in between that, we're going to do side lunges with a reach. So depending on how your feet and knees are feeling, Jimmy, I think I'd like to continue to have you do your side lunge like at the bar, like we did at my gym, where you have something to hang on to. So you can really sit back and really focus on your form and give your right leg and foot a little more assistance so that it's not taking so much, because I know that's a little bit of a challenge still. Mina, I want you to grab a weight of some sort. So if it's a 5-pound kettlebell or a 5-pound dumbbell, something where you have a little bit of weight in your hand. We're going to do a side lunge where you go out, reach down to your toe, and then reach down to the other side. So it's the same motion for both of you, but Mina, you're just adding that reach. So you're really sitting back into your hips and your knees, bending those knees, sitting back in your hips, reaching down towards that toe, coming up nice and tall in between. We'll do 10 on each side. Unless that just feels like entirely too much, then you could do 5 on each side, or even 7 or 8. You don't have to use the magic number of 10. Whatever feels like you're getting to that point of muscle fatigue, or if you start to feel like you're breaking form. So if you start to feel like, I'm not doing this right, this is starting to hurt, you're at the end. I think this is 8. Over to the side, try to keep up nice and tall in between. 9. You're really sitting back into that hip. 10 and 10. All right, good. Okay, so lat pull and then side lunges. Next, I'm going to have you grab your 8-pound medicine ball, and we're going to do some side stepping thrusts. So we've done these in the gym with that Chemagon, that orange thing with handles on it. So it weighs about the same as your 8-pound medicine ball, but just taking a step kind of diagonally out to the side and giving it a big slosh. So imagining you have that water-filled vessel. The other thing you can do is grab, I always keep one of these on hand, just a water jug, and it's the same thing, really, as the Chemagon. It just doesn't have the nice handles on it. So if you have the water jug you want to use, great. If not, use your 8-pound medicine ball. It's the same, really. It's just that the water gives you a little extra instability, and you're able to feel that slosh, really giving it a good punch. 7, give it a good punch. So it's kind of an explosive movement. 2 more each side. 9, 10, and 10. Okay, good. So we're going to do those step out punches there. And then we're going to put a band around your ankles. So we're going to do some monster walking today. So remember, you want to have your feet spread apart, about shoulder width apart. And you're going to take steps forward, but maintain that wide stance. So we're really working on that hip stabilization. So walk all the way across your room. So it's about 10 times or so. And then we're going to go backwards. So be sure you don't have anything in your way. You know, make sure your gym floor is clear. And this backwards motion is really where you're going to feel it in your glutes. Nice and slowly. And if you just have a short area, like I'm trying to stay in this area, then go back and forth a couple times. And then backwards. So notice that I'm kind of in an athletic stance here. So my knees are bent, my hips are bent just a little bit, my chest is still tall, but I'm in this athletic stance, right? So I don't want to do this straight-legged and really straight and rigid. I want to be ready to move. I want to be kind of ready, you know, for that athletic position. Okay, so those step outs with the medicine ball or with a gallon jug of water or something, and then your monster walks. Okay, good. We'll move on to the next one. And I'm going to have you grab weights for shoulder raises, lateral raises, but probably a little bit less weight than you normally would do. So maybe 8 pounds Jimmy, 5 pounds Mina, and of course you can go up if you need to. But we're gonna do one arm at a time. So you can either have a good, stable, like 2 feet, nice and wide, giving your back all the support it needs. So you're really supporting with your core, nice and slowly, both directions. Or if you feel like you can do it, let's add a little tandem stance. So that's going to require even more core work. And I'm going, if you notice, I'm not going straight out to the side. I'm kind of going at that diagonal that we've kind of talked about, not right out in front, not, you know, so not right out to the side and not right out in the front, kind of in the middle. So here and here, nice and slowly. Now the key is keeping your torso, your shoulders level, your hips level, and not letting something like this happen, where you're kind of using the rest of your body to lift that weight. You really want to control both directions. So this is actually harder than doing both at the same time because you're having to stabilize so much in your core. And just lifting one at a time doesn't allow any bracing or anything to happen. So you're really isolating that muscle. We're going to do 2 more each side. And if a tandem stance is too much, you know, you can stagger. 10 and 10. Good. All right, so you might realize that you might need a little less weight than you thought for that one. So kind of play with it and see what feels good so that you're not overcompensating and you only go up to about the height of your shoulders and that's it. Okay, so in between that one, we're going to do an elbow plank on the Bosu. So get your Bosu out. Like I said, you know, I don't have my Bosu here at home, so I'm going to use my discs. So just put your elbows right up on top of that Bosu. I'm going to make sure we get 30 seconds here. And we're going to just do a regular plank hold. So, oops, okay. Nice and straight. You want your knees straight, your hips flat, your head in line with the rest of your spine, your elbows directly beneath your shoulders. So you don't want to be back here. You want to be directly over those elbows. Keep breathing. We've got 8 seconds to go. Try to keep as nice and flat of surface as you can throughout your whole body. 3, 2, 1. Good. And of course, you can go down to your knees. If that's feeling like too much, you can go down to your knees. Play with it. Try to hold it for 30 seconds though. If you have to go down to your knees to get to that 30 seconds, so it's okay. I'd rather have you do that than just fully stopping altogether. Okay, so the alternating lateral raises into your elbow plank on your Bosu. All right, next set of exercises. We're going to grab a little bit heavier discs, a little bit heavier weights, and you can stand on your discs or maybe a little bit of a staggered or tandem stance. You can kind of choose here, but we're going to do bicep curls. So nothing crazy, but I really want to focus on that eccentric motion, so the downward motion. So try to make that one go a little bit more slowly. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're adding the balance, right? So we're adding a little bit of core as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you can switch after a few, or you can switch each set. You know, the next set that you do, you can switch and put your other foot in front. Or Mina, if you want to, you can stand on your discs. You can also put your discs in a tandem if you need more of a challenge. So you can put one foot in front, one foot in back with those discs, and that's more of a challenge as well. This is 8. I'll put my other foot in front like I'm working on the other discs. And one more. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to go all the way straight at the bottom of that bicep curl. Get your full range of motion through that biceps. Okay, and then we're going to lower back to the floor and do your hip extension. With that abduction. So we're going to go into extension, just a straight line. Remember, you want your hands directly beneath your shoulders, knees directly below your hips. Go out into that straight extension, out into that slight abduction. So pulling it away from center. It's a very small movement. So you don't want to be, crunching towards that side type of thing. It's a small controlled movement, really isolating that glute. 6, 7, keeping your head in line with the rest of your spine, keeping your shoulders down away from your ears. And 10, all right, switch legs, straight out, and then just a little bit out to the side. Not a very long ways. 4, 5. Trying to keep your whole torso from your hips to your shoulders in a straight line, not deviating from the center. You want to keep everything nice and flat. 8, 9, and 10. Hi, Baloo. Oh my goodness. You are so excited. Okay, 2 more. We've got 1 more set to get through. He is so excited. And then we're going to do windmills. So grab, I would say, Mina, maybe 5 pounds, Jimmy, 8 pounds. I might be wrong about that. You might want to go up a little from that. I think that's about the weights that you have. And then, of course, you can add more after the first set if you feel like it's not quite enough. But I'd rather have you start with a little less than a little too much. So we're going to go straight back. You're in that bridge. You want a flat surface from your knees to your shoulders. And then scissors those arms. We're going to make some windmills here with your arms. 2, keep breathing. 3. If you feel like this is too much, I'd rather have you stop and grab a lighter weight now. The other thing you can do is bend your elbows just a little bit. If you're kind of on that edge where the lighter weight feels like too little and the Next weight up feels just on the edge of too much. You can bend your elbows just a little. This is 8, 8, 9. Looking straight up at the ceiling. You want a nice flat surface on the top of that ball for your shoulders and your head. All right, good. And you can bring them down and walk yourself up to a seated position. Okay, the last one, we're going to do one more balance exercise. So, Jimmy, I would have you do this one just on the floor. I think you can maybe use the balance pad if you're feeling strong, if your ankle's feeling good. Mina, I would say the balance pad, maybe even a balance disc if you're feeling really strong. But we're just going to do a starfish. So standing on one foot, tipping over to one side. So really, the further you go this way, the more difficult it is. You can start here and then decide, you know, the more you take your torso, the more you move off the center of gravity, the more difficult it is. You can hold that. I want you to work on this for about 30 seconds. So if this is way too much, especially for you, Jimmy, for your right leg, just like when we did the airplane, you can use that foot as kind of a kickstand. Or do it next to something where you can hang on, even if you do it at the wall. The wall can be your support, that type of thing. I think that balance sticks might be a little much, Mina, but you could try the balance pad. And then the other thing is you could kind of like move your arms back and forth like this if you need a little bit more challenge. Just create a little bit more movement to the hold. All right, let's switch sides. We want to work on each side for about 30 seconds. All right, take it off center. Keep breathing. Keep your neck and head in line with the rest of your spine. You kind of want a nice flat surface here, like I would be able to fit right up against a wall, backwards or forwards, so that you're not leaning here and trying to hold it. Think of a nice flat surface. Keep breathing. Use that foot, especially the other thing you can think about is if this is a little bit easy, Mina, you can start to kind of put your weight in your heels and your toes out to the sides. Think about shifting your weight just a little bit. All right, that was 30. Great job. You guys are doing so well. Give me a little feedback. Let me know how you're doing. I haven't heard from you guys in a little while. And if there's anything you need changed or a little bit different, let me know, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Remember to do your heel drops and your tailor glide with that strap, Jimmy. Mine, remember to, keep up with that rolling and keep up with your stretching. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you.